Guys and girls, welcome back to another episode of Dad's Toy Garage, and we're working on Project Judith, my 1973 Toyota CELICA, or CELICA. This thing has been in the works for roughly just over 4 years, 4.5 years. Taking my time on it, making sure it's done the way I like. I'm kind of a perfectionist in that sense. We're going to be finishing up in this video the style line down. Most of that at least, minus rocker panel and wheel arches. So you get a little bit of sneak peek here of what's going to be happening throughout the video. So follow along, let's have some fun with this. Now that the top is body filled and block sanded up to 220 grit, I would like to start on the bottom. So the first thing I'm going to do is run the tape down the body line and sand it with 220 paper. And then that should be roughed up enough. Or I guess not 220, I'll go with my coarser 80 grit, I think. I'll see what I got there. Rough that up, and then we will put the filler on. Now the car is sanded with 80 grit. I'm going to start body filling. And I've got the filler where I need it to be on this side of the car. I've filled across the gaps. I've trimmed it out with a knife. Same thing on these gaps. And like the other side, I'm leaving this because I might have to cut it if it needs to be modified for the wide tires I'm running. Once I put the tension rods in, I'll know best. Maybe I should get an alignment done. I might see if Tony's willing to do that for me on their machine, so then I can know for sure where the wheels are going to sit when they turn at full lock. So that might actually be a good idea. I'll get the car primed and see if we can trailer it down to his shop for a little bit. And now that it's filled, I'm going to put the masking tape back along the edges so that I can sand off of that with the 80 grit. So I got the tape on here now. I'm going to grab my block, start sanding down with 80 grit, and work my way up to 220. Hopefully we don't need to do too many filler applications after this. We'll see how my metal work is in this area here. I know this door had a bit of rust repair, like we built the corner, the whole bottom, and the front section here. So we'll see what we got. This one didn't need any metal work on this side. I think I had one hole that I welded up, but it's probably a drain plug hole, which I don't need on the outside of the car. So yeah, let's get going on this. One thing I wanted to say about this area right here, here's okay because the hinge is there. When the car's on its side, it is easier to sand the car sideways, as you just saw me do in the last time lapse. But the thing is, if it's sideways, the weight is pushing down on the door enough that you're not going to get a level gap. So I kind of did this while the car was on the side. And this part here, I gotta do in the more awkward position, but at least it's still eye level. So get that blocked out and we'll work on from there. I got a lot of the block sanding done on the bottom half of the style line and got all the shape back into here. And this was kind of damaged from the accident, so I had to put a bit of a sharp line back into here. And once I'm done sanding with 220, right now it's an 80 grit. With 220 then we'll round the edge back. I got the wheel arch done. I had all this done and I found a little bit more. The curve was too sharp here, so I body filled that. And a little bit in here I found a little bit more. So we'll work on that next. Alright, so body line, style line down is blocked out down to 220. I gotta do like the rocker inside the wheel lip yet and door jamb. But right now step is you can see here a couple spots where it's lower. Here's a good example here. So I've marked that out in pencil. I'm going to take and run a tape along the body line, the style line, and I'm going to just do this very fine skim coat of filler off that edge, block it down again, and then I'll come back, rip the tape off, and sand it by hand. So that'll get that line super straight, super crisp, and it will work really well. So let's get into that. So as you saw in the time lapse, a little explanation of what I did. I taped it off along the body line. Then I taped it again so that when I filled on there I could rip the second tape off and still leave this on to sand. So this corner needed a little bit yet. This is the one that needed a bigger spot. And the other thing you might not have seen as well in that time lapse is you can start shaping this while it's fresh with a knife. And that's exactly what I did here. I shaped it with a knife. Kind of took off a lot of the chunks. A little bit of filling in here. So we'll block sand that now. The last step in getting this line right is a guide coat. So I just took an aerosol can across here and I'm just going to block sand this line off of one side and we'll see how close we are to a straight line. Alright, so this line is pretty close to perfect now. I'm feeling really good about it. And as you saw, I've done the guide coat on both sides, up and down twice. And yeah, it's nice. I'm happy with it. We'll get you guys a close-up look on that. There. The car a little lower so we get more light right on the top. Yeah, and you want to be very careful you don't roll your block over this edge while you're block sanding, and we'll keep it sharp that way. Thanks for joining me, guys and girls, on this episode of Dad's Toy Garage, working on my Toyota CELICA. And it feels good. Got this stuff done like we saw in the video there. If you guys like the video and want to see more of it, feel free to hit the subscribe or the bell. And we'll keep building cars as long as you guys want to keep watching. So until next time, we'll talk to you later.